So it's a little after 8 o'clock right now, and just take a look at how enchanting all this stuff is over here, right? And quite frankly, the type of enchantment like this is something that I really do hold near and dear when I watch certain films, like certain genres. Case in point, film I want to talk about right now, which is Sleepless in Seattle. So, Sleepless in Seattle came out in 1993. It's a Nora Ephron film. And it was the same year that Tom Hanks ended up doing Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a film that I personally think is better than Sleepless in Seattle. They're two totally different films, but whatever. Yes, Tom Hanks may give a better performance in Philadelphia, but so what? Sleepless in Seattle is one of those romantic comedies that really ended up becoming such a hit, such a cultural phenomenon, that when people nowadays think of what's a great romantic comedy, Sleepless in Seattle may end up making people's lists. Because I know that back in the 1990s and in the 2000s, it made just about everybody's list. Because, you know, before that, you had like screwball comedies, but yeah, 1993, they really took a bit of a weird turn. Okay, that's an understatement. It took a very weird turn. But, you know, I'm happy that it took the weird turn that it did, okay? So it deals with this man who is played by Tom Hanks. He's widowed. He's now a single father. His son is played by Ross Mellinger. And he's grieving so horribly over the loss of his wife, and has been driven to such extreme depression because of it, that he immediately takes his son and moves to Seattle. Because just staying in his regular town, it's a make him miss his wife. And so he figures that leaving town, moving far away, would at least help a little bit. His son doesn't really mind moving much. The thing that his son really wants is for his dad to find a new wife so that he can get out of his state of depression. So what does his son do? Calls up this radio hotline, how many states over, how many time zones over, and Meg Ryan just coincidentally happens to hear it on the radio when she's driving home one day. So Tom Hanks' son says exactly what happened and why he wants his father to start dating again, find a new wife, because you know his son doesn't even like. He loves his father. I'm sure he would love to have a mother of his own, but he's not a selfless kid. He's just looking out for his father. And so there's all these subsequent visits that Tom Hanks and his son end up doing on the radio thing. And it really causes Meg Ryan to keep tuning in, keep listening in. And that also causes the radio station to really shoot up in ratings, because his story is so personal, it's so heartbreaking. But the thing is, as Meg Ryan is starting to fall in love with Tom Hanks, she is actually already engaged to this great guy who totally loves her. He's playing a movie by Bill Pullman. She thinks that she loves Bill Pullman too, but the more she listens to Tom Hanks on the radio, the more she falls in love with him, and the more out of love she falls in love with Bill Pullman. So eventually it reaches a point where They end up getting some different ideas from the 1957 film An Affair to Remember with Cary Grant and Deborah Kerr. Now, don't get me wrong, I did like An Affair to Remember also, but when a movie, like decades and decades later, comes out and they try to take some of those ideas and plot points, acknowledge that they're from something else, but use it to their own advantage, and people and the bystanders around them are helping them get together. I was really into this. And of course, there really is not anything not to love about the film. I mean, like, when I opened this video, I gave like a panoramic scope of my beach right over here. But in Sleepless in Seattle, what they do is they're able to make the nighttime very, very enchanting. Kind of like what they did with Moonstruck, with all the stars and the moon and the lights on the buildings. They do some similar things to that in Sleepless in Seattle. But the twist in this one is that there's not really much of a romance between them. I mean, like, of course, when Tom Hanks' son reads some of Meg Ryan's letters, and when Tom Hanks goes on dates himself, his son wants to ruin those dates because he knows that Meg Ryan is the woman for him. And Meg Ryan knows that too, but Tom Hanks doesn't. He doesn't believe in fate or destiny. And see, that's one of the things that the movie really tries to go for, is the whole debate of fate and destiny and like, are people really meant to be together? What's good about the film is, even though someone watching the film may not entirely believe in that stuff, what the movie is able to do is it says, okay, I believe in fate, so for the next 2 hours, just play along, go along with the ride, whatever. We're not forcing anything on you, just go along with it just for the movie's sake. And when everything is happening, we get really wrapped up, so excited because we love these characters so much. But as I said, there isn't any real romance between Hanks and Ryan, because they all share just about almost no screen time at all. But even so, even though there isn't any big like smooching between the two of them, what we do get in the film is so powerful and so wonderful that after Hanks and Ryan do get together, spoiler obviously, duh, I wanted more of it. I wanted like a Sleepless in Seattle sequel, because as I said, we love everything that this movie has, and the climax, the resolution, all that stuff is just fine and dandy. But when they actually are together, what happened? What happens? Obviously they're gonna get married, because so the whole movie's building up to. But I wanted more of those escapades. If they could go through such insane adventures with both parties on either side of the country, just imagine the crazy things that can happen when they're right by each other's sides. So even though I did want more from Sleepless in Seattle, it still is one of my very favorite romantic comedies. So I'll give Sleepless in Seattle from 1993 3.5 stars out of 4.